Another important segment that I can see from this chapter, student, is the role of public relations, which can easily be remembered as PCPCL, as if आप घर पे कह रहे हो मम्मी को PCPC लाओ, पर्सनल कंप्यूटर लाओ, तो इस तरह से PCPCL, very important 5 points are there in this, where P represents publicity, that company needs to do some publicity. And you know, students, the basic difference between publicity and advertising is the paid form of non-personal communication. Both are no doubt non-personal communication, but advertisement is a paid form, but publicity is an unpaid form. It's a general favorable news when it's presented in the mass media regarding the product or services or about the company, then its image is transmitted to the general public, and this leads to publicity. It is a non-paid form. Remember always, it is non-personal, non-paid. So this is publicity. Then we can talk about C for communication, the corporate communications to the general public. This corporate communication factor highly matters in building up the rapport of the company with the outside public, and therefore the image of the organization must be promoted in a proper manner through its newsletters, the annual reports, brochures, articles, audio visual materials, some all the print media, or it can even be the use of electronic media for the purpose of communicating with the outside masses. And then again, P is for press release. Again, this is a form where the company is promoting its image through the use of print media and electronic media and building up public relations. There are separate departments in the company like PROs, PRDs, public relation departments, who remain in direct contact with the media to present the true facts about the company so that the correct picture of the company is transmitted to the general public. So this is again P. And next in line is C for counseling, where counseling mainly forms the work of public relation department of the company, where they continually gives advices to the managers of the team so that the company's position is well kept in the market, and company builds up a good reputation and goodwill through doing contributing towards the various causes of the society, maybe for the children, for uneducated people, or sometimes the causes like helping in the natural calamities, or people when like they were badly suffering from the pandemic COVID, then also many companies came forward and did this task of CSR. This is also now a compulsory thing to do on the part of the corporates. So counseling is done by the PRO, the public relation officers or departments of the company, towards its managers to guide them to how to follow this CSR in order to build up the image of the company. So this is PCPC. The last point being L, students. L denotes lobbying activities. They are very, very important, because under this the company tends to organization deals with the government officials, and with which they also need to maintain a very healthy and cordial relationships. It may be with the ASOCOM, the Association of and Chamber of Commerce, or it may be FICCI. So all these the government authorities and their various bodies need to monitor the business authorities. So the business must be dealing well and maintaining a cordial relations in order to fix up the taxation policies, or maybe formulating some industrial and financial and monetary policies and fiscal measures. So all this has to be done through the activities of lobbying. So always remember the roles, the various roles under public relations can be maintained as PCPCL, where P means publicity, C means again counseling, again P means press releases, yet C represents the communication part of the institution, and L represents the lobbying activities. So this segment from the book, students, is attracting a 4-marker this year from the sample paper. So as you can see, there is a difference between advertising and personal selling that has been talked about, and it is very important to know because it has been asked as a 4-marker. So advertising is an impersonal form, as you know, that large masses are communicated through an impersonal channel, while personal selling, as the name itself suggests, it's a personal form, one-to-one form of communication to promote the product. Now advertising is standardized message only, that is sent to all customers in a particular market segment, while here there is a one-to-one messaging, or we can say the personalized talks when we undergo for personal selling. The third thing is advertising is highly inflexible, because these messages are preset and it cannot be adjusted to the needs of the buyer. But however, we can say in personal sellings they are highly flexible, and the messages can be adjusted as per the needs of the buyer in a prospective buyer. It reaches masses and a large number of people can be approached at one time, but here only a limited number of people can be approached because it is one to one. Now here the cost per person will be obviously low because large people at a time, and here the cost of per person is high because we are dealing individually. The advertising can cover the market in a shorter time duration. Time will be less because more people at one time, and here again there will be a lot of time taken because we'll be covering not be able to cover the entire market altogether, like we will be covering it in segments. Now advertising makes use of mass media, the print media and radio, television and magazines, but however here in personal selling there's only the staff which is involved, the sales staff, who can go directly to the homes of the people, the prospective buyers, and it has a limited reach. Then here direct feedback is not possible, students, because it is in the form of generalized communication to all. But here, while dealing in personal selling, the immediate feedback can be received from the prospective buyer, and similarly the reactions can be sent immediately, suiting his or her requirements of the product. Now advertising is more useful in creating an interest about the customer and depicting its image outside. And personal selling, students, is more useful to create an awareness of the product, and it is specifically more useful in introductory stage of the products, where some demonstrations have to be given as far as the quality of the product is concerned. So in introduction it is useful. Now advertising is more useful in marketing or to the ultimate consumers, the final consumers, the real users of the goods. And here the personal selling can basically be useful more to the intermediaries, or we can say the industrial buyers who are in between, we can say through the dealers to the retailers, who are just a few in numbers and can easily be covered through use of this one-to-one form of communication. So students, now let us see the questions that have come in this year's sample paper from this particular topic of marketing management. And the very first question, as you can see here, is relating to the process of classification of products on the basis of the characteristics such as quality, its size, its color, and we have discussed it all. This branding, nowhere it is linked, because branding is something that leads to product differentiation, differentiating the products from its generic products. Then if we talk about standardization, this is also not there because it works on a set of predetermined standards that the product must adhere to. And grading, we can say yes, this can be the answer, because grading is basically the classification on the basis of the attributes of the product. And marketing planning again, it's not there, because planning just involves a roadmap or creating a blueprint for the activities to be performed. So next question, straightforward question, 4 marker, students, where 4 points of difference have been asked between advertising and personal selling. So just now we have seen a few points that advertising is to the mass reach, one single standardized message for all, and personal selling is one-to-one, and it is specifically designed. It is quite flexible and easily it can achieve the feedback. Immediate feedback is received in this process. Due to being one-to-one and personalized, it has to be more costly affair, and this is more economical. And in personal selling, we can also say that time taken is quite high. However, in advertising, it is very economical in terms of cost as well as time. So all these points can be talked about. The next question, and this says that we have to explain the 4 elements of marketing mix, which are nothing but for the 4 P's that we have already discussed in the segments of the chapter. The first being the product, second discussion on the price or creating value to the product, and then the physical distribution component, where the point of sale, the product is taken to the point of sale, and last one being promotion, so that it gives a clear-cut image on the minds of the users or consumers. Now in the option, there are 4 factors affecting price of the product has been asked. So this is very important as we discuss, students. So you can easily crack this question by remembering the acronym, and it was nothing but OMG CCD. where you can talk about pricing objectives, the various marketing methods used, the governmental and legal constraints. Then C was cost, and another C represented the competitiveness in the market and demand or the utility of the product in the minds of the consumer. So these are all three questions that have been asked. I will say, students, that from this chapter, although this has a biggest weightage from all the chapters till now, it carries 11 out of 20 marks from this particular unit. But I will say, students, there are not the number of questions that is important from this chapter, rather the each question's weightage is much more. So you can see a 6 marker, a 4 marker, as well as just 1 marker has been asked, one marker from this chapter. So as far as number of questions, they are very less, but yes, the weightage of per question is more from this chapter, and that is how this chapter forms 11 out of 20 marks.